Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivaya Gauri. Pero no puedo cantar si no la canto. O sea, Sava Parsa Siddha Dhamma Sagavatari Svapasha Siddha Dhamma Sagavatari Atinta Dulaba Prema Kori Bharidana Atintya Dulaba Prema Kori Bharidana Sikanya Saranagati Akatena Prana Sikaya Saranagati Akatena Prana Danyatmani Vedana Kotate Varana Danyatmani Vedana Kotate Varana Abhasyara Shiva Krishna Vishvasya Parana Abhasyara Shiva Krishna Vishvasya Parana Bhakti Anukula Mantra Karyera Shikara Bhakti Anukula Mantra Karyera Shikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Paryanangikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Paryanangikara Saranga Saranagati Hoi Veyahara Saranga Saranagati Hoi Veyahara Tahara Pratana Shune Sinanda Kumara Tahara Pratana Shune Sinanda Kumara Rupasana Pana Fare Tate Trina Kori Rupasana Pana Fare Tate Trina Kori Bhakti Vinara Pore Tui Paranori Bhakti Vinara Pore Tui Paranori Kandiya Bole Amito Adana Kandiya Bole Amito Adana Sikaye Saranagati Korohe Utama Sikaye Saranagati Korohe Utama Gurudevaya ya Gurudevaya ya Gurudevaya ya Gurudevaya Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudevaya ya Gurudevaya ya Gurudevaya ya Gurudevaya
Thank you.
Cristo un momento de gloria.
Oh, thank you. I've been waiting for this song.
Más tarde, ¿sabes? Tendrás tu momento de gloria.
Are we live now? Yeah. Does anyone have any questions, maybe?
No.
No?
I have a question about Srimad Bhagavatam. I started reading your translation and finished the first canto, and I have a couple of questions. The first one would be if Srimad Bhagavatam is an eternal book, does it mean that the things that take place in Srimad Bhagavatam, they repeat themselves every time they're at
When they say about eternity of Srimad Bhagavatam, they mean eternity of the message. It's not the book particular. It's, I'm sorry. So the message is eternal, and the essence of the Lord's word is eternal and ever-existing and non-changeable. But the form, especially literal form, may vary from epoch to epoch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, regarding the version of Srimad Bhagavatam that we have presently, we know 4 narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4 4 conversations. So the first one was spoken by Narada Muni to Vyasa, and the essence, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken in 10 shlokas, 10 lines. When Vyasadeva finished his labor on concising all Puranas into one lump of one massive of knowledge, he concised everything to one, and then he divided it by 4, and then he underlined the message of Puranas and Vedas by writing Vedanta. It's a very precise and condensed message. Vedanta means the end of Veda, and his underline was that the final goal of conscious in existence is freedom. So the goal of consciousness is to become free of all bangles. So the freedom. And he realized it, but he was not unhappy. So then his spiritual master, Narada Deva, approached him saying that you're unhappy because you didn't speak of the beauty, the beauty universal, or the ultimate beauty. So then he reconciled his message, and the result of it was Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he retold Srimad Bhagavatam in extended form to his son, a 16-year-old son, Shuka. Then Shuka spoke this very message, adding his own understanding to King Parikshit when he was about to die. So this was the third narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. The fourth one was after 1,000 years when thousands of sages came across that sacrifice and they couldn't make it through, and in the evening they started asking each other questions, and one of them was Suta, the son of Chariote, and they said, "Oh, we know that your memory is outstanding memory. You can remember everything. You have heard before, and we know that you were present in this famous gathering when this famous assembly when Shuka was telling the message of Srimad Bhagavatam to the king. So since you remember everything, can you repeat it?" And Suta repeated it. And it was written down again by Vyasa, because Vyasa was present as well there. So he wrote it after words of Suta. And this version we have.
Vyasa, the father of Shukadev.
Yes. First he told Bhagavatam to him, and then he wrote it after hearing the version of Suta. So but in Bhagavatam we read several times that in previous ages it was told repeatedly by different sages, even in, I believe, in the beginning of third canto, when the conversation of Maitreya and Vidura starts. And it continues up to I believe, the middle of the fourth canto. So, like 30 plus chapters. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, but spoken by Maitreya to Vidura. And what he said there, that he heard this from Brahma. So Brahma was also telling to one of his sons, I believe Narada Muni, but I may make mistake in this regard. So this message was repeatedly spoken by different speakers to different audience, and the form may differ, but the essence is the same, that everything starts from the movement, from Leela. So the initial movement comes from wave of loving pastime between him and her. So everything develops or evolves from that. So everything that we observe is the gross development of that subtle movement. So anyone who touched the basic, the principle, he can relate Srimad Bhagavatam according to his experience. So like Sridhar Maharaj says that spiritual world is like a vast ocean without bottom. So anyone who dives in that, according to the depth of his diving, he can describe his experience. And our Guru Varga, they reached the deepest layer, the deepest layer of that ocean. And this is why they deliver the experience of the beauty controls everything, not the justice, like that. So any doubts? Anyone wants to rebuke the message?
Actually, I have a lot of questions I want to ask, but maybe if you're busy, we can do it later.
No, I'm not busy. I believe like 20 more years I can.
Okay. So it means that if so every time our universe gets destroyed and it starts over again, that Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't necessarily has the same leelas.
Yes, his leelas in the created universe differs. Every time, every now and then, he changes his image, his appearance, and the course of his pastime he may change, but the essence is he does it by himself, on himself, without reference to the opinion of the others, and the basis of his movements is love. Love and self-aggrandizement, his egoism is the moving reason, is the moving cause of everything. He is so egoistic, and because of his ego, he plays, not to satisfy anyone else but himself. So this is the basis, and that's beautiful. At least one person in the being is happy. At least one. I mean, it's enough. So if we follow his and his followers' step, maybe some drop of happiness falls on us. Maybe not, because it's only one drop, and it's not enough for everyone. It's very small. So the happiness not for everyone, only for one and a few in his presence.
So that means that not necessarily Narada Muni was always there, because when I was reading it, I got a little confused, because I thought that the Leelas repeat itself, and when I was reading the third creation of Brahma was Narada Muni, and he started to explain to Vyasa his previous life, how he was born.
Vyasa's life?
No, Narada Muni was explaining to Vyasa about his previous life.
So we know from Srimad Bhagavatam that Narada Muni is present within Brahma's universe at least for 2 Brahma's days. So we know 2 Naradas' existence. So the first one was, he remembers when in Brahma's previous day. So Brahma now, he is in the age of 51. He's 51 years old. So we know he's 2 days out of 51 years. Narada says that in previous life he was born as the son of maidservant, and his mother was killed by the snake, and then he set off his residence and walked through the valleys, and then he met the Lord himself, appeared to him, and then he left his body as that boy, and he was reborn when the new day of Brahma started. So we know his 2 lives and 2 days of Brahma. And what happened before? Maybe there was another Narada Muni, maybe it was that person had another name. It may be a lady or animal or whatever. It may be completely different lila, but the essence is that Krishna is playing with his beloved devotees. In the core of the existence, and then at the distance, moving away from the core, we have ever changing something. The forms, Narada Muni, or some Brahmas have 1,000 faces, some have 4, 8, whatever. It may be different. So the Lord in this universe came as the pig, the whore, right? So in this, or then the dwarf, the short, Vamana. So in different universes it may differ. In different days of Brahma, in different days of Lord Vishnu. It's functioning and changes.
Also the last question about Parishit. When he was born, like the astrologers, they made out a whole of his future when he would get bitten by a snake within 7 days, and this story made me think about, but if your whole future is already predicted for you when you were born, then how can you really have freedom of choice if whatever you're gonna do in your life, you're still gonna follow what you have been predicted, and you're still gonna end up there where you were predicted to be.
Yes, all what is destined definitely happens. It's the result of our previous life, our previous mentality, and our previous deeds. But what is not predicted, your reaction to what happens to you. It's not predicted. So, like you hit something undesirable in your life. So you may be angry with that, or you may be jealous, or you may be content with it. It depends on you. So your reaction to what happens to you creates your mentality, and that mentality alters your future slightly. So our karma is not only depends not only on our deeds, but our thoughts. And what is thoughts? It's the reaction to events that come to our life.
Basically by living in this life and doing certain things in this life, you're like building your next life.
Yeah, you change your life. Like someone step on your feet, step on your foot, and you have choices. You may hit him in revenge, or you may say no problem, or just don't mention it. So that was destined, that someone stepped on your foot. It was destined, but your reaction was not. So once you react in a certain way, you create something that happens to you in the future. And then when it happens, you have also choices to react this way or that way. And that creates your future slightly again.
Future, but not for this life.
Well, this life or next life, it's all relative. We have only one life, but we tend to cut it by periods, like this life, that life. Like in this life, we cut it by days or years, but actually, there's no days and years. It's just a continuous existence. We may say every day we wake up and it's like a new life. And the mentality you go sleep this day creates slightly the mood, your mood next day, tomorrow. So same with our lives. Like days.
The small reflection of what's to come, like later on.
Yeah. So Krishna tells us not to be joyful when something desirable comes to your life, and don't regret when you lose something. Just stay even. So then you can see the essence of. Don't be driven away by waves of what happens in the environment.
I'm sorry, because I'm not sure I understood 100%. What is constant in the end? You said there is a destiny, no? There is something that is already decided, there is already... But if we are in constant reaction, changing this destiny, what remains constant in the end? I'm not sure.
It's like a flow. You meet some circumstances. Like Parikshit was told that within 7 days you're gonna die. Or when he was born, the astrologist told him that you gain everything that others dream of. You'll be the emperor of whole world. You will have most beautiful wife and obedient children and whatever. And you'll be famous. So according to stars, you're destined. But your attitude towards it it's not predictable. So when he was told that within 7 days he going to die, he may react like the royal advisors, royal consuls told him, if you want, we can cancel this curse. You just tell us, because it's not rightful curse. You did nothing wrong, but you're cursed to death. So we have power to cancel it, to bounce it. And he said, no. So he could have this choice to counteract the curse of that Brahmana boy. But he said, no, I will use this opportunity to realize the goal of life, to understand some truth. This is good opportunity. Otherwise, I will live in illusion. He was 32 or 33. He said, okay, how long could I live more? Like another 30, another 1,000 years? Doesn't matter. And this is brilliant opportunity to realize what is the purpose of life. So don't contract that curse. I will use it. So he walked away from his palace, family, beloved one, children, and he walked. So it was his conscious choice, and it was not predicted.
So lo que está diciendo es que todas las cosas... Oh, yeah.
And we also have to take into consideration another thing, that we live in frames of time. So to our view, things happen one after another. But the wise who rise above the frame, the cage of time, or the change of time, they could see that things are present simultaneously. We, like when we start watching movie, we see frames, first frame, second frame. How many? 60 frames in second?
Yeah.
Like we see frames, in every second we see different frames. And so for us, the end is not definite. We don't know the end. But one who can perceive all frames, not in sequence, but at once. So for him, there is no sequence. And he can, in his mind, so he also see all frames, but not in the sequence. So for him, the movie is different, because he can, when we watch movie, we jump from one frame to another in the way designed by the director. We have no choice. We can see. Okay, we can rewind or put it forward, but we cannot change the sequence, because we are in illusion of time. But one who reached beyond that illusion, he can, in his mind, change the sequence. Okay, I put that frame first, then this went second. So for him, this is called yogi, one who can change the observation of same frames but in different sequence. So for us, it's we cannot go beyond that illusion. So we live in Maya, in this sequence, which is determined, but not for the wise, not for the sages, not for the Lord and his devotees.
I just...
So when we play chess, we don't know the outcome of the game.
Right.
But for one who knows all courses of all games. He already knows everything.
Right. He can see your next 10 moves, right?
Not that next, he can see all. Not next, but all.
I see.
So you wanted to ask?
Yes, so I just got initiated like 5 months ago by Janani Maharaj, and I find myself wanting to learn and absorb as much as possible, as quickly as possible, which is not, I want to go about this in a very natural way. So I want to know, how did you begin absorbing these teachings in a way that was, nurturing and fulfilling, but also really being able to also communicate them about with people.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't communicate with people.
Cause no, I mean like when you're preaching.
They're horrible. No, I don't preach. Human beings are horrible beings, so I don't communicate with them. They're beings of prey, so I don't. And me, as for me, I mainly communicate with devotees, and it's good relief because you don't need to preach them.
Right.
So
the mood is already there.
Yeah, so I shortcut this burden to preach. I just enjoy my life.
So how did you begin learning in the beginning of your journey to Krishna consciousness, or did you read first?
I skipped the phase of being in ISKCON because it's not relevant, and I came across Shri Guru and His Grace by Sridhar Maharaj, and I was so much enthralled, so much excited about it, and then I started reading more, and it happened that that very summer, Srila Govinda Maharaj came to Moscow, and I had chance to meet him. So, and he was different from other devotees I met before. He didn't speak with me about Krishna consciousness, mantra. Just he asked me, "You are fed enough? You have some prasadam?" So it's just like menial talks, not about Krishna consciousness, not high talks. So I liked it. He treated me like grandfather, like father, grandfather. I liked it. So nothing high philosophical.
Because I just, Nyasi Maharaj, he gifted me Search for Sri Krishna when I first met him. So if it's taken me, a long time just to finish that one book, because every page is just so heavy, I put it down, oh man, But I'm just coming to finish it now, and I did get Sri Guru and His Grace, so I do plan to read that next. So I'm excited to hear and to see what it's all about. I heard so much good things about it. It's great.
Yeah, because I had some experience with Krishna consciousness in different organization, in different community. So it was like understandable for me, Shri Guru and His Grace. But the first book I would recommend, Inner Fulfillment, is just for the newcomer, for the beginner. The Inner Fulfillment. It starts from the basic, like there are three layers of existence: exploitation, renunciation, and devotion. So we live in the lowest one. We try to exploit Maya. Maya means exploitation. So very basic and very understandable. You read this?
No,
It's a small brochure.
I'll check it out.
Inner Fulfillment. Is that right? Devananda Prabhu. Inner Fulfillment.
Yes.
And Srila Guru Maharaj's books, Srila Maharaj's books, they are made on his talks, informal talks. So I like it. It's not informal, so it's like you talk to him, like he talks to you.
Yeah. It's not, some organized talk, or pre-written. It's really like just an intimate conversation, just happening between the guru and the devotee. It's really...
Yeah, like
really
questions,
nice to
answers, yeah.
Yeah, a taste of that transaction, that's like can happen between the two.
Yeah, so he speaks like your grandfather. It's not like your teacher or your authority, like mentor. This.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sit down, boy, I will tell you the truth. No, it's like a grandfather talking to you, by the way, at the table. And I like that mood.
Yeah, definitely. What year was it when you first met Maharaj?
It was in 2000. I was 36, 34.
I'm going to India for the first time this February with a group of devotees and Shaka. We originally thought it was just going to be like just 20 of us, but it's like been expanding and growing. So many people are joining, and it really looks like it's going to be a
Big group.
grand thing, yeah. So
Since many years. Since many years, this COVID thing, not many people came to.
Yeah, it's been weird. Past couple of years.
Then this disorder in the mat, where to stay, who is the manager. So all this went to complete mess.
Yeah.
So where you gonna stay, in Jal Mandir, in Navadvip, or Nrsimhapali?
I believe that first one that you mentioned.
Jal Mandir.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's more comfortable, more accommodation, and it's Guru Maharaj's and Gurudev's Samadhi Mandir in Navadvip. Mayapur is close, right across the river.
What do you think is the best way to prepare oneself for such a parikram?
I have no advice, but I remember one talk by Srila Guru Maharaj, and it begins with his question to devotees. Oh, you first time here, so how do you feel about Navadvip and Dham? And they answer, the devotee answers, well, we enjoyed it.
Mm.
And he said, what? And then whole talk starts. You're not meant to enjoy it. You're meant to be the obedient servant. We come to Holy Dham with the mood of service, not like tourists, like Chinese tourists.
Yeah.
They click, click, click. So we're not selfie tourists.
Yeah.
Or selfish, I call it.
Right.
Not selfie, but selfish.
Selfish.
So they just make photo with the deities.
Yeah.
So not like that. So we come with the move to service, and once we do that, Krishna directs us and gives us the right mood and right movements. Sridhar Maharaj in this talk, he says, we can see Dhamma with the mood of devotion, or with eyes of devotion. If we don't have that mood, I came here as a servant, then you just travel to India. You travel to geographic place called Navadim Dham. When you arrive there, on the train, it's Navadvip Dham. So here you are, you're in Navadvip Dham. But actually you're not. So don't be overwhelmed with that mood of I will buy things. Many devotees come to buy dhoti, kurta, and paraphernalia, but let it not be your main motive. Just that Navadvip Dham, the mat is the house of our gurus. They are the owners and housekeepers. The owner of the Jalmandi, the mat, is Srila Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev called himself, I'm just doorkeeper. I'm not the owner. I'm doorkeeper. I'm housemaster. And so if you come there with that reference, with that attitude, I came to the house of the owner, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and the gatekeeper. So it gives you right vision, right view.
What time is it?
7:30.
It's okay. Ask now to read something. What should you read? Chaitanya.
Oh, yesterday we were reading a little bit. Should Saraswati asked to wait for Sachiti to.
Oh, okay, I see.
shouldn't ask me.
You have to wait.
It's only up past 10.
Maharaj, do you want to read something maybe?
Yeah, do we have a copy
Yeah.
in Russian?
In Russian?
Oh,
Read in Russian?
Yes.
maybe. In English.
Okay.
In Russian only.
А?
Может, новую книгу? Это же не важно, какой язык.
Приятный будет. Because we have just released a new Читание Чаритамрита in Russian.
Oh, really?
Oh, I saw pictures of it. It's beautiful. Beautiful book.
Скажи им, они хотят послушать.
It's like got the
Нет, они...
В одну главу.
Yeah?
Do you want to listen to it?
Нет, мы не будем читать на русском. Так. Where we'll start with? What will we start with?
I don't know what page.
Is it any specific place or
I think
the bookmark?
Yeah, that's where the mark is, yes.
Так, so it's very philosophical. Chapter 1, the expansions of Lord Nityananda. So I don't know where you finished, but I start with the first verse in this page.
Yeah.
I think we read about 30 or 40 expansions from the one there, I think, Maharaj. If you start
Okay.
from around the 30th.
30, because it's 27th, so the 30th. 31st, 36, 58, 36. So we read Читание Чаритамрита, expansions of Lord Nityananda, the Adi Lila, chapter 18, text 53. The 36th devotee of Lord Nityananda was Hoda Krishna Das, whose life and soul was Nityananda Prabhu. He was always dedicated to the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, and he knew no one else but him. So the purport of Vaisvaya Maharaj, the residence of Krishnadas Hoda was Balagachi, which is now in Bangladesh. So we know that in 1971, West Bengal, Bengal was split by two. West Bengal and East Bengal, which is Bangladesh now. And many Gaudiya Vaishnava were left in Bangladesh, and many came from there, across the border. When you travel by train from Calcutta to Navadvip, to Mayapur, you can see in one place you can see the border, and actually there is no border. You can cross easily. Well, Indian border is like Indian time, stretchable. So many devotees came from there, like Acharya Maharaj. He's from Bangladesh, by the way, and Paramahamsa, many devotees from Almaty. So we see that Nityananda Prabhu vastly preached in Bangladesh. He had many devotees there. And actually, Navadvip is not far from the border. And in Navadvip, you don't see many Muslims. Well, there are like rickshaws, you can see them. But if you go further north to birthplace of Sridhar Maharaj, Hapania, they are densely mixed with Muslims. Like that village, that small town is like divided by two, Muslims and Hindus. So we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita the clashes, the conflicts between Muslims, the ruler, he was Muslim, Chand Kazi, and he was the relative of Mahaprabhu's family. He was the member of Mahaprabhu's family. And Hindus, there were like conflicts. And Mahaprabhu, in Bengal, Mahaprabhu is called the first revolutionary because of the Middle Age India, because he opposed Muslim ruler by non-violence. The movement of non-violence started by him, not by Mahatma Gandhi. So he came to Chandkazi. When you go, you will visit. I believe in the first day of Parikrama, you visit Chandkazi. Before you go to Jagannath Temple in Navadvip, we visit Chandkazi place. So that very place where the talks of Mahaprabhu and Chandkazi took place. When surprisingly Chandkazi did not, he obeyed. He said, okay, your Muslim people or your Hindu people can sing and dance. And Mahaprabhu asked, why you gave up so easily? And Chandkazi said, you know what? And he opened his chest and saw the scratches, the marks of his wounds. And he said, you know, last time I dreamed of terrible, horrible creature with a lion head, and he jumped on me and scratched my chest and said, if you break mridangas of my don't even touch them, otherwise I kill you. And then he disappeared. And I thought it was, and I woke up in cold sweat. And I thought, oh, this was just terrible dream. But I looked at my chest and it was scratched and blood oozed. And he said, now I understand this is reality. So you can chant your Hare Krishna, you can, don't worry. I let you do that. So you will see that place. But there is no house anymore. But it just, the flat premises and the tree, fenced tree. So you can sit there, take some prasadam. Okay, so among Lord Nityananda's devotees, Nakadi was the 37th, Mukunda the 38th, Suryan the 39th, Madhava the 40th, Shridhara the 41st, Ramananda the 42nd, Jagannath the 43rd, and Mahitharu 44th. Shrimanta was the fifth, Gokula 46, Hari Chandana, Shivati, Nandai, Paramananda, consequently 50th. So Vasantas was the 51st, Navani, Hoda, Gopala, Sanutana, Vishnai, Krishnananda, Sulochana. So we don't know these names, but we can read purport by Swami Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, Navani Hoda appears to have been the same person as Hoda Krishna Dasa, the son of king of Balagachi. His father's name was Hari Hoda. One can visit Balagachi by taking the Lalagola Gata railway line. Now these lines, they completely different. When you visit the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you can see the remnants of railroad, like forgotten, no one used it, like rotten rails there. So now in India, the many stations and lines, rail lines, they are not used anymore. And these names may mean nothing, especially this Bengali, Bangladesh. I remember one lecture, Swami Maharaj explaining the power of mantra, the power of word. He said that when Bangladesh split from India, India was a power and Bangladesh just few rebels. But what they did, they took the radio station, the local radio station, and they announced that all Indian police and soldiers, they gave up. So all power in barracks, in army barracks, took by our forces. So there is no chance you just give up. All Hindus just give up. So it was announced by radio, and all Hindus gave up, thinking that coup, they took over the power. And he said, this is the power of word. So then you imagine what power has, what power does the name of Lord have? If just mundane word has that kind of power. So what do you think of that power? I just came to my mind.
Yeah.
So just he explains that station. So then Krishnadas Kaviraj counts different devotees of Lord Nityananda, and then he finally says, among the branches of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Virabhadra Goswami, he was his son, was the topmost. His sub-branches were unlimited. No one can count the unlimited followers of Nityananda Prabhu. I have mentioned some of them just for my self-purification. All the branches, devotees of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, being full of ripened fruits of love of Krishna, distributed those fruits to all they met, flooding them with love of Krishna. All these devotees had unlimited strength to deliver unobstructed, unceasing love of Krishna. By their own strength, they could offer anyone Krishna and love of Krishna. I have briefly described only some of the followers and devotees of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Even the 1,000-mouthed Sheshanaga cannot describe all those unlimited devotees. With an ardent desire to serve the purpose of Sri Rupa and Raghunath, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. So, at the end of chapter 11, so we can finish by Krishnadas Kaviraja's words. He's saying what was one of the reasons, the main reason why he wrote this book, because Nityananda Prabhu came to him in his dream and told him, leave your family and go to Vrindavan and describe the Lord's glory. And just the day before, Krishnadas Kaviraj had the argument with his brother. And his brother, he was a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the assembly of devotees, he said, well, I worship Mahaprabhu. He is the Lord himself, undoubtedly. But Nityananda Prabhu had questionable nature. You know, his methods, questionable. And Krishnadas Kaviraj just burst in cry, and he left his brother. And for him it was unbearable to hear that offenses to Nityananda Prabhu. He said, if you don't have respect to Lord Nityananda, you're not a devotee of Mahaprabhu whatsoever. You cannot divide them by two. They are two lords. They are one Lord in two bodies, like Balarama and Krishna. They are the one. Balarama is the ego of Krishna. Krishna has no ego. He is completely egoless because he is the slave of his beloved ones. When you're a slave, you have no ego, but where his ego? Lord Balaram, his ego. How he's like extended himself, he divided himself as the enjoyer and his ego, the acting principle of himself. So Krishna is just enjoying principle of Godhead, and Lord Balaram is the acting principle. Shri Radhika, she is the enjoyed principle. So Krishna is enjoying, she is enjoyed. Krishna is the enjoyed principle, and she is enjoying principle. She is one who's giving enjoyment, And the third one, Lord Balaram, he's acting. So you cannot divide Balarama and Krishna. Same way you cannot divide Lord Nityananda and Mahaprabhu. So once you do that, you show disrespect to Mahaprabhu as well. Once you have disrespect to Nityananda Prabhu, you have disrespect to Mahaprabhu. And he writes in his memories in Chaitanya Charitamrita that probably Nityananda Prabhu was satisfied with my attitude, with my answer to my brother. So he came to my dream and told him, okay, leave your family. You're dear to me, so I care about you. So just go meet your real master, and then write that book. And Krishnadas Kaviraj was very old. In the beginning, he writes of moving limbs of my body. Only one right hand is acting, is left, because he was paralyzed when he was in Vrindavan. He had maybe he had stroke, so he could not move. Only his right hand could move. He was, I believe, older than 90. So and he said, forgive me, my reader, my dear reader. I'm going to write about the most exalted things, whatever, which is love. But I can't hear, and I'm almost blind, and I cannot move. But I'm going to write about things that the youth write and speak about. So forgive me, please. So when he was very old, he hardly moved. He left his family and went to Vrindavan from Bengal. So it's about 600 kilometers, I think, or maybe more. You can see.
How long did he live?
No idea.
How did he compose Chaitanya Charitamrita? He didn't live at the same time with Chaitanya.
Yeah. He never met Mahaprabhu, and his guru was Vrindavan Das, who wrote Mahaprabhu's biography, Chaitanya Mangala. And Vrindavan Das, he was the son of Narayani. Narayani, you visit, when in the fourth day of Parikram, you visit the place where Narayani, the girl, lived. She was a small girl in time of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu once made her sit on his lap, and she chanted with him. She was like 4 years old.
Oh, I think I've heard a little bit.
Yeah. So when she grew up, she married, and Vrindavan Das, he's her son. And Krishnadas, he is a disciple. And, they all remember Mahaprabhu, some friends, some children of friends, they all mixed. Then you visit Mahaprabhu's wife house, Vishnu Priya's, and his slippers, his sneakers.
Really?
Sandal shoes.
They're there.
Yes. So if you're lucky, they can hit you on your head if you ask the pujari. So that's her house. She spent the rest of her life there. And it's in the middle of Navadvip, very old section of the town.
Wow.
Very old section.
That little girl that you mentioned was the daughter of Srivas Pandit?
Who?
That little girl that you mentioned, the mother of...
Narayani, that little girl.
Uh-huh. She was the daughter of Srivas Pandit?
Oh, I don't know, maybe I don't. If
Because there's a story with...
you remember. Okay.
Something that is...
I'm not good at this name, but what I know, as Gurudev explained, when asked why there is Chaitanya Bhagavata mandala and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they relate basically on the same subject matter, basically. So why there are two? And Gurudev answered that Vrindavan Das had different mood. He had a rasa of friendly rasa with Krishna. So he writes his remembrances of Mahaprabhu from that angle, as a friendly relations, and Krishnadas Kaviraj had that concert mood, that Madhurya Rasa. So he writes from that angle, so you cannot mix it. Because some things you read in Chaitanya Bhagavata you don't read in Krishnadasa's books. So some things missing here. But he always says everything is in Vrindavan Dasa's books. I just add little touches. So if you want to know everything about Mahaprabhu's life, read that book, he said. But Gurudev said, no, they have different moods. You cannot mix it. Why I say this? Because there were attempts to combine them like modernly. Because some things you can read in one book, some things in another book. So why not to combine them and make a full story of Mahaprabhu, covering his childhood and his youth years and his advanced years. So why not to make like encyclopedia? But Gurudev said, no, you cannot mix it. It's rasa. Technically it's called rasa basa. You cannot mix different relations.
That's what rasa basa means.
Rasa basa means, like you have like brotherhood relations with some lady. Like you're a brother of her. And suddenly you want to show your, romantic feelings. You cannot be brother and lover.
Right.
It's dirty.
Right.
It's obnoxious. So you're either brother or husband, beloved one. So Gurudev explained in this way. So you cannot mix. It's typical rasa person and sahaja, I think. So I think we close today. Yeah, Hari Hari.
We sing Hari
I'll
Hari.
try. I'm very simple.
Hari 16.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jalavaya Namaha.
Hari Hari Nama Krishna Jalavaya Namaha.
Jalavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Jalavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Govindaram Shri Madhusudana.
Govindara Srinadhisudana.
Giridhari Bhakti Madhamana Namaha.
Giridhari Govina
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Radhara Srivastava Bhakta Govinda.
Radharara Srivastava Bhakta Govinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunatha.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunatha.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Raghunatha.
Jiva Gopala Bhakta Raghunatha.
Jai Gosai Koi Charanavandana.
Jaya Gosai Koi Charanavandana.
Jahante Vindana Vishwapurana.
Vaishnava para Bhakti Guru
Jai Sai Parkar Shri Guru Garanga Gandhara Govinda Hari Gopal Ki Jai. Jai Shri Guru Vara Devi Hari Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Paramahamsa Jai Astatar Satra Shri Shri Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Paramahamsa Paravaja Katai Jai Astatar Satra Shri Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Paramahamsa Paravaja Katai Jai Astatar Satra Shri Shri Bhakti Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Paramahamsa Paravaja Katai Jai Astatar Satra Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Shri Gauri Kishore Dasbhaviji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Shri Satchitananda Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Pushapad Shri Jagannath Dasbhaviji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Aga Ki Jai. Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Baladev Vijay Bhushana Ki Jai, Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Narottam Shamananda Srinivasa Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai, Sarvashada Shriman Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Sarvashada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Kopo Chu Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Ki Jai, Tulsi Mahavani Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya, Shri Nrsingadev Ki Jai, Bhakti Maharaj Ki Jai, Tulsi Mahavani Ki Jai, Grantava Shri Mathai Pratam Chaitanya Tavatamati Ki Jai, Vishnu Vaishnava Vajra Sabha Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Ki Jai, Shri Navadvip Ki Jai, Vrindavan Purushottam Dham Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai, Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitlago Premanandi Haribol, all going to Sri
Jai Dhananda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Bharati Maharaj.
Jai. Prabhu, you're from Mexico. You're from Mexico?
I'm from California, but both of my parents are from Guadalajara, Mexico.
Because I read there is a war in Mexico now.